This is FE Peer Review. It's Monday morning, November the 1st. The year is passing quickly. I wanted to do a very quick little video here. I'm not going to fuss with doing the cover sheet and all that. It's a follow-up to the video I put up yesterday, Algorithms Spreading Disinformation. It's all about the money. Mittelwelle, 531 kilohertz, left a great comment on my video. He often leaves comments and they're always thought-provoking. I wanted to read his comment and then read my response, and then I'll just wrap it up with that. No need to go further with it. Mittelwelle writes, interesting video. Only with regard to what you write about designed algorithms, I'm not quite sure if you or me or both have the correct mental picture what's actually going on. Originally, to me, software design was the application of purely mathematical principles and an exact understanding of what's going on under the hood down to nitty-gritty details. Only then, when done by a computer, even the most boring only that when done by the computer, even the most boring, mostly repetitive work with tiny variations in input would be done completely free of errors and many, many, many times faster like a human could ever do. Nowadays, things are changing. If I understand it right, there's not much difference between what is commonly called algorithm and AI. Surely, then if you take a historic approach, there is, but my take, meanwhile, both are becoming to stand for kind of training, a general purpose goal, seeking algorithms for a specific task. In other words, you present it with lots of inputs, do random little mutations, and if the outcome is more what you like, you keep them. If not, you discard them. There's the key sentence. The AI does all the random little mutations, and then if you like them, you keep them. If not, you discard them. That's where the issue is. Last and finally, you don't understand any longer what algorithm really does. You only know it achieves its goals. No. The goals created as success criteria for it. I'll come back to that. And that, like more or less the same software trained by a competitor in your business domain. It's a blind process. I'm going to question that. It's a blind process, much like evolution, and I wouldn't blame engineers directly for the outcome, only insofar as they make themselves available to provide the general untrained AI. Insofar, I agree with you that it's all about the money, much like you get paid more money for more or less the same work you feel tempted to change jobs. Okay, I'm going to respond now to some key points that I think are tucked in here, kind of subtly tucked in there, that need to be brought out. I quoted from him, if the outcome is more what you like, you keep them. And I responded, call it algorithm or call it AI, there must be some pre-established criteria to determine when it is achieving the desired results, when, quote, you like it. And it's these desired results, in other words, profit, über alles, where the problems lie. The decision of the success criteria is not done by AI. It simply checks its results against them, the success criteria, and continues tweaking as necessary. Fundamentally, a business decision is made by people. Goals are defined by company executives. Then the machinery is set in motion. We must get rid of the idea that AI works outside of human influence. There is a reason why this, quote, AI is inevitable idea is being floated, and I don't mean by Mittelwelle, but I mean socially, publicly. It's just like the, quote, your vote doesn't matter message. People with a lust for power need to try to make the rest of us feel like we have none, because the reality is that we do have power, and that's a danger to their positions. So if they can confuse us into thinking we don't have power, then we won't speak out and challenge them when they do things against our interest. In the end, people establish the priorities, the success criteria by which AI evaluates its outcomes and its next steps. In the case of YouTube, I suspect the criteria include things like keeping people on the platform for more hours each day, spending more time watching ads rather than clicking past them, etc. These criteria are all established not by AI, but by people. AI simply acts according to them, making the changes necessary to achieve them. That was what gave YouTube the big problems with flat earth content. People with messed up agendas were pushing it. It appealed to certain groups, conspiracy theorists. The AI picked up on this and promoted it more and more because it gave YouTube what it wanted: more view hours, more ad time, etc. The situation only changed when there was a public outcry, social pressure on YouTube, documentaries like Behind the Curve pointing out how YouTube had effectively promoted this phenomenon. Then and only then did YouTube step in and tweak its systems to bring it under control. Mind you, YouTube did not make these changes in order to do the right thing. They did it because the public outcry risked destroying their reputation and consequently reducing their profits. They didn't want to see people leaving YouTube, so they had to respond to public pressure. This is the nature of business in a capitalist society and the reason why some degree of regulation is necessary. Private businesses will not consider ethics the social good and will not hesitate to act against both if it means more profits, unless they are compelled to through social political pressure. I'm going to say just a little bit more. I did a video about 2 weeks back called How Social Media Algorithms Control the Message, and I did that video prompted by an article I read. There was a link in the article to an article in the BBC, and it was a fascinating article. It's very much relevant to the process that we're looking at right now. How priorities are set by people making business decisions, and then programs are put into place to implement those priorities. The programming itself is an automated process, artificial intelligence. It's constantly evaluating whether it's matching those priorities, if it's approaching those priorities and using those priorities as its baseline. But the priorities themselves are set by people. And that's the point. We have to remember it's not out of our control. It's very much within our control. And at this point, when we see what goes on in like this video with this article down here from the BBC, or what I pointed out in the video I'm presenting to you right now, it's really critical that we not hand over our power and that we retain our voices. All right, I'm just going to start rambling if I continue on, so I will stop now. And thank you for your patience listening to my rant. Have a great day.